We're back. We're back. We're back. It is Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. I am Patterdale Woods. Live Your Life Dogs. Sponsored by the NEPTC. You know what we do. We come here and talk Patterdale every Wednesday. Anything and everything Patterdale. We always got a question. Sometimes, we got a special guest in interview, but today, it's just me. But we're gonna have fun like we always do. Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about as you can see, how much needed to be considered proven. So how much work is needed to in your opinion, how much work is needed in your opinion before Patterdale is considered proven? And obviously, I mean, we're talking earthwork, not ratting. Then we'll talk a little bit about we'll talk a little bit about upcoming events, 2026, summer 2026. Talk about yo, Hook. Hey, one sec, one sec. Yeah, but we'll talk about some accomplishments. Maybe people want to do accomplish with their dogs. I know for me, my Patterdale, I wanna try to get her on some coon, but hopefully not nothing. Hopefully she don't run into anything too big, but it is what it is. But yeah, she been on a lot of groundhog, been on like one or two coons, so I want to get on some more coon. She did a lot of work. To me, she's not proven yet. You know what I mean? And yeah, from my experience, I mean, and from people I've spoken to, you gotta have for a dog to be proven, they gotta, do a certain amount of work, not just, have I would say at least two good summers, maybe three good summers where they're putting in a lot of work, getting in the ground a lot. Um, actually, getting in the ground is one thing, but actually getting in the ground and getting a hold of things, you know what I mean? Really getting to it. So what's your opinion? You know what I mean? How much work is needed to be considered proven? Your opinion though, because everyone has their opinion. Um, some people also start their dogs a lot later or a lot earlier than others. So obviously, that comes into play. Um, I don't know if really age comes into play. So I mean, I would say if it's more the work. The dog did amount of certain work. I mean, did a certain amount of work, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that's what we're here to talk about. And again, we'll talk about some upcoming things. Summer 2026. We'll talk about the NEPTC. The name has been switched a little. The logo has been switched in a little. Some talk about some things they're doing that are new, or some things they're involved in that's coming up. And yeah, regular stuff, regular Patterdale talk. But yeah, how much? That's the question of the day. And of course, if you got any other questions, you could always comment them, put them in the chat, and we'll talk about those. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. But how much work is needed to be considered proven? Your opinion. Again, my opinion. You know what I mean. Have to be a couple good summers of or winters or whenever. For me, I guess I'm saying summers because I hunt more in the summer. But because where I'm at, where I'm located. But yeah, I would say a couple good summers. I would say maybe get on maybe like I don't know, six good sized groundhog. And of course you would have to a couple of those would have to be, some good earthwork, you know what I mean? Because there is times where you could get a groundhog where it's like not too deep. So you know what I mean? Dog really didn't have to do too much digging. But yeah. and maybe get on a couple obviously a couple of things different from groundhog. I wouldn't really say rats, but I mean a coon, you know what I mean? Maybe if you get in what's those muskrats, those are a little, those are little, it's a little different. Those are like, tend to be on the side of water, which from what I've heard, some people say it's dangerous because your dog could go up in a hole and end up in water. I've never really did muskrat hunting with my dog yet. That's something I would like to do. Like I was saying, if anyone had any accomplishments they want to do with their dogs as far as hunting, that's something I want to do, is at least do once or twice, do some muskrat. But yeah, I don't and then there's people that don't really consider muskrat really um top tier, or earthwork, as far as like real earthwork, I guess. But again, that's all your opinion. You know what I mean? Everyone has their opinion. Everyone has their thoughts. Here on the Live Your Life Dogs channel, we respect everyone's opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. Our opinion is our opinion. It's all good. It's all love. We might not have the same thoughts or opinion, but it is what it is. That's how the world works. But yeah. So that's two things I would like to do this summer, is get my dog on, a couple more coon, and maybe get her on some muskrat, do some muskrat hunting, things like that. I mean, I definitely would like to see something like a fox, but again, those who know, my dog's only about 10 pounds, so she's not really, her specialty right now is groundhog. Because of her size, she could get up in them holes, where you got a bigger dog, as we all know, that's probably better for a fox, like 16 pounds. They're not that good for groundhog work, just too big. So yeah, but that's one thing, later down the road, maybe I get a bigger Patterdale. That's one thing I would like to definitely get on. And who knows? I mean, there has been holes we checked, and then come to find out it was a foxhole. So it's probably that she could run into one, but I'm hoping she doesn't because of her size. But you know what I mean? We try to keep her healthy and strong just in case. But yeah, I would. That's two accomplishments I would definitely like to get on do this summer, is get her on more coon, and do some muskrats once or twice this summer. But yeah, how much? What's your opinion, Carmen? I see there's a couple people in here. Don't be shy. Hop up in the chat if you got any questions. Cookies. Yo. Come here. You got any any questions you got? It don't have to be it don't have to be about the proving. Just any questions you got in general about the Patterdale or something like that. And as we go along, more people come in here and hop in the chat, and we get things going. But yeah, and it's the first live of 2026. So, this year we're gonna I mean, we was pretty consistent, didn't miss too many weeks. 2025, but yeah, this year we're gonna try to be a little bit more consistent. Maybe try to I'm gonna try to do some, maybe like some weekend mornings. You know what I mean? Maybe do some Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings. See if I know Wednesday nights 9 o'clock is not the best time for everyone. Some people, I mean, we all got work in the morning, but some people gotta get up real early. So it is what it is. But definitely gonna try to do. We do the Friday Night Live where we talk about dogs in general, but definitely gonna try to do more lives about the Patterdale, as far as maybe getting one in on a weekend morning, Sunday, Saturday morning, which we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's the first live 2026, so we're just gonna get things going. It should be a big year. It seems like the Patterdale community's coming together a little bit more. People are getting a little bit more involved in not saying they haven't been involved, but you know, people are just back to posting. People are talking a little bit more. Jamie Park, how's it going, bro? And this is a perfect question for you because you've been doing this for years. How's it going, sir? Um, I'm good like always. How are you, Jamie? How are you? Let me ask you that. You know, but yeah, Jamie. Well, the question was, where did it even go? How much work is needed, in your opinion, Jamie? How much work is needed before or is needed for for a Patterdale to be considered proven? And in your opinion, Jamie, you know, like I know, and everyone knows there's a million opinions about anything, whether it's dogs, sports, food, whatever the case might be. But your opinion, Jamie, how much work does a Patterdale need to do before you consider it proven? I gave my opinion, you know, but again, I'm still somewhat new, and I'm still learning, and not saying my opinion matters, but you know, we're here to talk about it. So I'll give my opinion. And yeah, we're just having fun with it. Like we always do, Jamie. It's definitely a process. It takes time. The more time you put your dog, the better you'll have. That's no secret. Yes. And I mean, you know, Jamie, like you said, that's no secret. That's I mean, pretty much anything in life. If you're playing basketball, the more you shoot, the better your shot's gonna be. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're working your dog more, which also comes with a risk, right? Though too, Jamie. You know, if you're working your dog more, he's probably gonna get bit up more. They're probably gonna get hurt more. The risk of them, something drastic happening or them getting, hurt bad is obviously higher because you're working them more. But again, that's part of the game. But yeah. If I was to ask you, if I was to say how many digs in, if it came, say we said how many digs in, I guess that's what I was thinking. The size of the game would matter too, right? Maybe because it's one thing if you say your dog been in the ground, 8 times, but five, six, 7 of those groundhogs are like a tiny. You know what I mean? And only one's a good size. But then you got a dog where been in the ground 8 times, and all the groundhogs are big. So you could say, okay, they both been in the ground 8 times. They both did great work 8 times. And I'm just using 8 as a number. Some people it might be 16. Who knows? You know what I mean? They've been in the ground 8 times, but are they both proven? Because this groundhog caught 8. I mean, this Patterdale caught 8 big groundhogs, while this other Patterdale caught 7 small groundhogs and 1 big groundhog. So we consider the one who caught the 8 big proven because they're big, and he probably had to put in more work, and obviously a bigger groundhog is gonna put up a bigger fight. Or is it like they're equal, or does that even come into play to some people? Or is it the way they act when they're in the dirt? I know there's some people they don't consider a dog real game or real tough or whatever it might be. Cookies. Or whatever it might be, if there's a dog that's in the ground and then say it's in the ground and it gets bit and it yelps and makes a noise. They don't see that, you know what I mean? They don't see that dog as really it, because and it might have still went to work. It still did its job, it still held on, it still got in there, and you got it, you waited for you to, held on to you, dug down and got him out, and did what you had to do as being part of the team. But some people consider dogs that if they get bit, and they make a noise, they're not as, they're not as game or as tough as another dog that might get bit and not make a noise, even though they're both in the dirt doing the same work. You know what I mean? Could be on the same size, whatever. But just because this dog might have made a noise when it got bit, some people don't consider that. You know what I mean? It's cool, like the dog's working, the dog's gonna do his thing, but they really don't consider that a tough dog, or if it's making noise when it gets bit. But again, that's your opinion. What did Jamie say? I just told a good friend this morning, if you have a dog that you're going to work, don't fall in love with them. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not gonna lie, I love my dog. Yeah, anything happen, I'll be pretty hurt. But you know, anytime we go, I know it's a possibility, man. That's why when she gets in that dirt, I just get to digging. I just get to digging. You know what I mean? You use the locator, you use the track or whatever, and let's get down there. Cause like, yeah, again, and I think I said this. I mean, I definitely said this several times. And I think I said this last live. Is that's another reason why I've learned that people who do have Patterdales and hunt, most of them have several Patterdales. Most of them have several Patterdales because one could end up out of commission for a couple months or a month, and if it's that kind of sucks if you got one and your one dog is out for 4, 5, 6 weeks. That means you can't really do any earthwork for 4, 5, 6 weeks. So, that kind of sucks. Dogs make noises for all kinds of reasons. Some of them because they can't get to where they want to be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. You know. And I mean, and I think when when I had that when I had that interview with the several people that that was their opinion. Um yeah, when we had that conversation, I mentioned, that dogs do for several reasons, but they also mentioned that if a dog gets bit, it's a certain type of noise, and I guess that's a whole nother argument. But I agree with you, Jamie. Yeah, they make all different type of noises. Sometimes some because they can't get what they where they want to get. And I've seen dogs that and again, I'm not someone who's been doing this for 30, 20 years and none of that. So, but from what I've seen dogs that put in great work, same amount of work, and they might make a noise when they get bit, but that didn't really change from them putting in the work. You know what I mean? And doing what they had to do and doing a great job, or doing a well job, and getting what they were supposed to get to. So, but again, it's all opinion. It's all opinion. We're here to have talk and have fun. It's all good. Good evening. What's up, man? What's up, Guardian of the Hives? Happy you in here. Happy to have you in here, man. I don't think you've been in here recently too much, bro. But yeah, definitely love having you up in here, man. And I should also add here, some of them make noises because they're somewhere they don't want to be. Yeah, true. I guess if they're stuck or in a jam, they might make a noise in distress type stuff. But again, I'm not. I don't. My opinion. I'm not gonna take too much away from a dog. If they get bit and let go and stop doing what they're supposed to do, then yeah, that's obviously, I mean, that don't really need to be said, but we'll clarify everything. Obviously that's a problem. But if they make a noise, and they're still doing what they gotta do, I'm not gonna stress about it too much as long as they're doing what they gotta do. But again, that's my opinion. Depends on the work on scene. Also, how fatigued the dogs one when they finish the job. Exhausted will make one quit. Steadfast performance. Happy to have you in here, man. Yeah, exactly. Definitely true. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're tired, we've all seen that probably in real life with animals, humans, whatever, the dog just didn't have the stamina to keep going. So yeah, if it's fatigued, and okay, that's another thing that might come into play is how the question was how much work does a Patterdale need to do to be proven? And some of the things was play is how many digs, maybe how deep with the digs, maybe how big the game he got the dog got during them digs. Like you said, I mean the fatigue, maybe that comes into play with people to when it comes to be when it comes to being proven. Maybe your dog has to look a certain way when it comes out. You know what I mean? But again, it's everyone's opinion. But you guys' opinion, comment, something, post something in the chat. And you could ask any other question too. We got people here in here like Jamie who been doing the Patterdale thing and the dog thing for years. Same thing as Steadfast. Guardian of High. We got a lot of people in here, myself. Got a lot of people in here know about dogs and Patterdale. So if you got any other questions, you tuning in, you got any other questions, yeah, you could just ask them. But yeah. The question of the night tonight is how much work does a Patterdale have to do to be proven? And again, some people even stamina might come into play. You know what I mean? Even from Lawrence in Tennessee, had a list. Oh, shout out to Tennessee. There's TL. Shout out to you, man. Glad you locked in with us. Yeah. So I mean, this is why I started this live, man. So we could all come here and learn and have fun together. So, happy to have you. Happy to have you. You're out in Tennessee. Do you have a Patterdale? Do you thinking about getting one or trying to get into hunting one or Tennessee? You're out in the you're in a right good area for it. From what I understand. I personally do not like a howling dog. You mean howling like bang? Yeah, I mean I don't like shit. Howling's annoying. Anyway, I mean, of course, there's dogs where hound dogs and certain type of dogs where if you're doing if you're doing a certain type of hunting, then you might want them howling. But yeah, and a howling Patterdale sucks because they got that high pitch, because they're small. They got that high pitch howl. Shit's annoying. But yeah, I'm with you. But I mean, if the dog's working, Jamie, and I know you agree with this, if the dog's working and doing a great job, it is what it is. We're there with the howling, but I agree with you. I rather not. I rather not. Steadfast, absolutely true, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, two. That's great, man. I mean, myself, I only got one. I'll definitely have maybe three. Two. I definitely have two, maybe three by the end of the by the end of 2026 summer. But yeah, because I'm gonna get a few more. I don't know where from or when necessarily, but yeah, definitely gonna get a few more for sure. Most likely, definitely two. I don't even know why I'm bullshitting. You know how it is. Get into it, you get into it. But yeah, two. That's great, man. How old are they? Have you been out working them, or are you learning more to try to start working them, or okay? Well, there goes yeah. See, Jamie knows, and I don't know if you're someone where we might be cool on Facebook or something, but yeah, Jamie said he has some little nice dog I see he's working them. So yeah, that's great. That's great, man. You could probably teach me some stuff for sure. And that's yeah. So if you got any, Mr. Lawrence, if yeah, anything, man, comment, man. Don't be shy. We're here to have fun. But yeah, again, you can learn a lot too. We always got people in here, giving out some gems, giving out some good pointers, and again, the question of the day is, what's your opinion? How much work is needed? How much work does a Patterdale need to do before it's considered proven, or to be considered proven? Your opinion. And hey, Mr. Lawrence, your opinion is just, just as good as anyone else's. Anyone, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, if you're in here, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. I think we even got the thing up where give gems and all that stuff. I'm not really. I gotta really look into it more and see what all of that's about. But yeah, it's another thing. I think in 2026 we finally got to the mark where we can do gifts or gems or supers. Or I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. A Wookie. You know, I might. Who knows? I might have to get me one of those. Definitely gonna get. You know me, Jamie. I always keep 100. Definitely gonna get another Patterdale before I look into one of those. But we always talk, and I'm definitely gonna get look into one of those eventually. But definitely gotta get my hands on just a second regular Patterdale, at least a second regular Patterdale before I do anything different again. I ended up getting the lurcher out of nowhere. Wasn't really planning on that, but hey, she's here now. It's all good. New to the Patterdale, learning now to start working, plan to go to NY in June. Looking forward to meeting everyone. Yes. Oh, and that's yeah, since you brought it up, we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, we'll be talking about some of the events coming up in some cookies. Yeah. In summer 2026, and that's one of them. June, we got the Big Dig. That's gonna be a great event. A lot of people coming out. It's gonna be held in New York, where it's at in New York. There's plenty of game. That's brought to you by Cut Up Kennels. Shout out to Cut Up Kennels. Shout out to the whole crew, Bigs out there. And yeah, that's brought to you by by Cut Up Kennels. Obviously, the NEPTC will be there. The PTCA will be there. It's recognized by the PTCA and the NEPTC, meaning dogs who do win will go down. We'll get points, and we'll go down in history of winning those events on the clubs. They will be noticed in the clubs and get their points and get their acknowledgement as far as doing their thing during those events. And there's a couple different during that weekend. Of course, I don't know if you was at the last one last summer. It ended up being great. A lot of good hunting, good stuff going on, a lot of new friends made, all that good stuff. This one's definitely gonna be bigger. A lot of the same type things, but this one there is a confirmation show, and obviously that's not what we focus on. As far as the NEPTC, that's not what they focus on. They're really, they're all about the hunting, but it is what it is, and that's part of the Patterdale world. So there will be a show. Obviously, some of those dogs in the confirmation show. Obviously, some of those dogs in the confirmation show will be hunting too. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But the confirmation show is first, and then there's different types. There's hunting for there's one that the focus is groundhog. There's another one where the focus is coon. There's another one where it's catch whatever you can, and you get certain amount of points for whatever you catch, and each and there's flyers and all that stuff with all that info out there. And we'll get, as the year goes along, I'll be on here with Biggs, and we'll break it down a little bit more. But yeah, there'll be several events. There'll be the one for the groundhog, focus on the groundhog. There'll be the one focused on the coon. There'll be the catch what you can, where that's just catch whatever you can, and there'll be points depending depending on what you catch. There'll be points. You know what I mean? And then there's the rookie event for dogs. Probably I don't know, under probably like a year and a half, I think it is. So dogs that are just dogs that are a year and a half, they'll go head to head. Basically, probably like just that'll probably be like the catch what you can type thing, where they'll just hunt and get what they can get. But all of them, as far as the rookie event, all the dogs will have to be a year and a half or younger than a year and a half, I should say. And that's one of the ones we always look forward to, because the pups, see what the pups could do, see what pups are putting in work. Some of the older dogs you might have or what I mean, depending, or you might have seen them work before. So with the rookies, it's kind of like anything else. You want to see what the young guys could do, what the rookies could do. But that event, the Big Dig, it's called the Big Dig June. And again, you don't have to. It is an event only for Patterdales, but again, spectators could come out. If you want to learn more about the Patterdale, if you want to see and that's probably the best way to learn and see if it's something you want to get into, is to come to an event like that and learn hands-on, and you could see exactly how it's done, because it's something where you might think you want to get into the dog that that you love and you put time into is in the ground, and now you're panicking because and those will tell you, not really me. I was kind of I've been out several times with people hunting their dogs, so I kind of seen it, and I didn't really panic at all when my dog was, I was kind of like, stay calm. We just got to get to digging. But yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking, and your dog is down in that dirt, and you can't see him. All you know is that you got to try to dig to him and find him. And you got to trust the locators and trackers and all that. But so that's probably, I would say, that's the best way to see if it's something that you want to get into, because we don't suggest getting a Patterdale and not hunting it. And that happens a lot, where people will get a Patterdale and they think they want to hunt it, and then like Jamie said earlier, you end up don't want to fall in love too much with the dog, because anytime you hunt, anything could happen, which people do. They obviously fall in love with the dog, and they end up probably just not hunting it because they're kind of scared to hunt it. You know what I mean? Which is, it is what it is. We're all human. I'm not faulting you for that, but it's rather, as far as us in the Patterdale world, we definitely try to keep the not definitely, the main focus is to keep the hunting aspect alive, as far as the us who do this, who love to do this. And cookies. One sec. Put this dog away. One sec. Yeah, sorry about that. You guys know how it gets sometimes with dogs. But yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best way. I would say, if you don't have a Patterdale, you're something you don't want to rush into, maybe come out to the event in June if you could get out there and spectate, and you'll see, right there, you'll see hands on. There's gonna be areas where or there'll be little areas where when people are digging, where spectators can come up to a certain line and they'll be able to spectate and just watch. So yeah, if it's something that you think you want to get into, it seems interesting to you, then yeah, that might be the best thing to do is come out in June and see how that event goes. And during that event, you'll be able to see exactly what it is, exactly how people, everything, what people, the equipment people bring, the size dogs people have to get into these holes, the shovels people bring, the medical equipment people bring, just in case anything happens. And closer to the event, that's something we'll go over too. That's something we'll go over, some of the equipment that we think, if you're gonna come and hunt your dog, some of the equipment we should suggest you should bring. Obviously, there's obvious things like every dog's gonna have to have a collar, you're gonna have to have a locator, you know what I mean? Things like that. Tracker, locator, because you can't, you can't do it without that. That's crazy. And obviously, there's obvious things like a shovel, certain couple different shaped shovels, a different size, or whatever, different shovels in general. And we'll go over things like that as far as our opinion and what you should bring and what you should definitely have. You know what I mean? And what's good to have but optional. So as the year gets closer, as the event gets closer, we'll definitely go over those things. But yeah, I would say that's the best thing to do is come out to that event, see how it goes, and that would be the best. That would be the best way to see if this is something that you want to get into for those that are trying to get into this or think they want to get into this. And you know, I love it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure once you do, but again, we rather have people get these dogs and hunt them. So my opinion is make sure that it's something that you want to do and something you want to get into before you do it. Thanks, Jamie. Going to be good event. Cut Up always has good events. Yes. Cut Up, they always have good events. Um, always show love. Everyone feels welcome. Again, there's plenty of game, all types of game. Everything from mice and rats and up to coyotes and down. You know what I mean? So that's how that is. There's plenty of game. It's plenty of fun. It's gonna be a great weekend. So, and again, 101 is here. I want definitely would like your opinion on this. The question of the day was how much work does a Patterdale need to do before being considered proven? And you again, this this is your opinion. Everyone has their opinion. Me and Jamie spoke a little bit about it on it, earlier. Um, yeah, so 101. I know you've been doing this for a little while. So what's your opinion? And we spoke plenty of times and you gave me your opinion, but we gotta give the live your opinion. You're well known and been doing this. So again, what's your opinion, 101? How much work does a Patterdale need to do to be considered proven in your eyes, your opinion? And again, live your life dogs here. Everyone's opinion is their opinion. We're not here to judge or say anyone's wrong or right. I mean, some things are just facts, but something like this is your opinion. You know what I mean? So yeah. And anyone else who just hopped in here, give your opinion. You know what I mean? Good evening, Pops. Love and respect. Wish you good, looking forward to see you. Yes, sir. And anyone who doesn't know, 101 and Jamie, they're very close. So when he says Pops, that's who he's talking to. He's talking to Jamie. Look forward to see you. Oh, so you can tell by this. Things in the morning, love, respect as always. Old man. He's getting old, Jamie. He's getting old. After being there last year in New York, my best advice to Betty is to book your camping or where you're staying early. Yep. Yeah. That would be that. And again, that's something And thank you, Jamie, for that, because obviously I didn't mention that. But that's something we'll be we'll be mentioning and letting people know what to do and how to do it and where to go and things like that as the event gets closer. But yeah. And I mean there's plenty of it's more, and I think you agree with this, Jamie. It's more if you think if you're camping outside, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot more easier because there's plenty of places to camp and things like that. But if you're trying to get like a motel or a hotel, yeah, you definitely want to look into it a little earlier. 101, in no less than 2 seasons, if you take the summer off, as they do overseas, yet I can understand a dog being considered proven quicker under certain circumstances by someone with a good eye for one. Okay, yeah, and that's another thing that I really didn't mention one on well, and is that someone who there's people that definitely have a better eye when looking when it comes to seeing the if a dog's ready or not, or proven or not, or they could tell if that dog's, if that dog's is really what it does, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's definitely people who have the good eye and a better eye for that. So, and obviously that's gonna be someone who's more seasoned, who probably been doing it long, who been around the block a couple times. Okay, 2 seasons with them completing digs from start to finish on their own. Okay, and that's kind of 1 on 1. That's kind of like what I said, and that's probably, who knows, that's probably because me and you have spoken about it before. So yeah, I agree. I said I was calling it summers or whatever because that's there's people that hunt year round, but I hunt year round, but I hunt a lot more in the summer. You know what I mean? But so that's basically what I was saying. 2 summers, two good seasons, some good hunt and really get in the ground, and of course on their own, I would hope. I mean, that's one thing. Um, I mean, I guess that we get into it today, but that's one thing. 1 on 1 that I like the way you said on your own, because like you said, anyone who's been doing this for a little while knows that anytime you're doing it, you do one dog at a time. But yeah, if you're one of them, if one of them people that just, oh, I see and this is no disrespect, but if it's so, oh, I see my dog, I'm in an area where there's just raccoons and they just be running across the field, and I just send 2 Patterdales on them. That's not what we're talking about. Respectfully, we're talking about earthwork. And I said this earlier, in the ground. Maybe for some people it might be they have to be in the ground certain amount of distance, a certain amount of time. I kind of said what 101 said. 2 good seasons are really putting in good work by themselves. Yes, definitely. In the ground by themselves. You know, and again, I was saying 1 on 1. What might come into play is the size. If you got a dog where it might have caught within the ground 6 times, but um it caught six small groundhog. Would you consider that proven yet? Because it hasn't really caught anything that's putting up a sizable fight. You know what I mean? So I would think that would come into play too. The size, maybe. But again, that's everyone's opinion. And don't forget to it's under control. Yeah, you'll be good, Jamie. I think this time I'm just gonna camp. I don't think I'm going. I don't think I'm getting no motel or hotel or anything myself, Jamie. I think I'm just gonna camp, be outside with the dogs and all that. But yeah, that was one of the things I mentioned one-on-one with the size of the game coming to play too. Again, if you got a dog who been in the earth, in the ground 6 times, but you know, all 6 times was a small groundhog or a small coon or whatever it might be. Do you consider that, proven yet? Because it hasn't really got on anything that put up a good fight yet. You know what I mean? Even though it's been 2 good seasons maybe of it doing earthwork, but the work it's doing has not been sizable. You know what I mean? The groundhog is catching is not really giving up a fight because they're just small for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So does the size of the game the groundhog I mean the Patterdale has been catching come into play? Or is it just 2 good seasons in general? Or do you mean, or when you say good, do you mean sizable game? You know what I mean? Do you mean good? So if it's a bunch of small, say again, I'm just using groundhog for example. If it's just a bunch of small groundhog, you know what I mean? Is that not considered a good season? So, and for those who just hopped in, the question of the day is how much work does a Patterdale need to do to be considered proven? We're talking about that. We're talking about some upcoming events, Patterdale hunting events like the Big Dig coming up summer 2026. The New England Patterdale Terrier Club, the NEPTC. So there's been some changes. We'll get into a little bit about that real quick, not too long. But as those know, it's a Patterdale Terrier Club, and it's a registry for working Patterdales. But as far as the name, it was the New England Patterdale Terrier Club. For several reasons, we adjusted the name. It is now the nationwide Elite Patterdale Terrier Club, and is the registry worldwide for working Patterdales. So what it does is it helps us keep track of not just Patterdales in general, which we already know that's with the PTCA, and we do work very closely with the PTCA to make sure everything is every dog that we do, is to make sure everything is the much as legit as possible, is make sure things are legit. So we do work closely with the PTCA, but as you know, the PTCA is a registry for Patterdales in general. I love the PTCA. All my dogs, obviously, my Patterdale and all my dogs I get in the future, obviously, will be registered with the PTCA. But nationwide, excuse me, the nationwide Elite Patterdale Terrier Club is a club where members could join in certain perks, but it's also a registry for working Patterdale. And again, it's not like you just sign up and say, oh, you just register your dog and click yes, my dog's a worker and your dog's registered. No, there's a couple steps as far as like maybe showing pics or video, and you got to have a cosign. Not no one crazy. It just got to be someone that's been out hunting with you and could cosign that your dog's a working dog. And the Patterdale world is pretty tight, so workers know workers. So for the most part, we'll be able to figure it out if your dog's a worker or not. And as we know, there's a million people out here that are working their dogs. So yeah. It was the New England Patterdale Terrier Club. It is now the nationwide Elite Patterdale Terrier Club, still NEPTC. Again, we'll be at the event in June. You can check out the website, NEPTC LUB. So it's NEPTC LUB, NEPT Club. And yeah, so that's basically about new. That the logo switched up a little. Again, the name switched up, but the vibes and the what's going on is still pretty much the same. You know what I mean? It's a club. Members could join. You register your dog. It's again, it's a registry for working Patterdales, which in the future will be great because if you're looking for a working Patterdale or working parents, just contact the NEPTC, and obviously they'll have a whole bunch of working dogs, hopefully, you know what I mean, or a good amount of working dogs where you'll be able to see obviously where the parents came from, the pedigree and all that, but you'll know, okay, if these two dogs are both workers, proven workers, registered certified workers, and they're having pups, so I would like to get one of their pups. Again, their pup won't be their pup is not just a certified worker, so you would get a it's possible to get a NEPTC pedigree for your pup as far as like the pedigree papers, but as far as your dog, the pup being registered as a certified worker, obviously that dog would have to grow up, work, and you would have to register that dog and go through the same steps that his parents had to go through to get it registered. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, and any dog that's registered, it won't be, any dog that's registered will be a proven dog. So there's not going to be any dogs that are 6 months old, you know what I mean, registered, because obviously they're not proven yet. But again, you will be able to go there and see and talk to them, or email, or whatever, the chat, or whatever the case might be, and talk to them and see what see what dogs are registered with them, and or see what dogs are maybe having a litter. And obviously any dog that's registered with them is proven, so that won't be the hard part. You know what I mean? It won't be the hard part won't be finding parents that are proven. It'll be choosing which ones you like, probably, or which bloodline you like, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what the nationwide Elite Patterdale Terrier Club is. And for those who is locked in with us, it was the New England Patterdale Terrier Club. Now is the nationwide Elite Patterdale Terrier Club. Again, still the NEPTC. So yeah, and we'll be doing, whole bunch of things, and again, we'll be putting it out there. There is a NEPTC YouTube channel, and 2026 there'll definitely be more stuff up on that channel as well. But yeah, question of the day: how much work does a Patterdale have to do to be considered proven? Okay, yes, that should be considered a dog that's being dug to 10 rats or baby hogs is not seen or considered proven. Nah, I mean, all right, so I'll give my opinion now. Yeah, ratting is not earthwork. So, you could say, yeah, they're in the dirt and all that stuff, but when we say considered proven, it's definitely not ratting. And that being said, the NEPTC does have a section for dogs that are ratting, because there is people that use them for ratting or whatever. But again, it won't be the same certificate as a proven dog. It'll be like, just be, your dog will be just known for ratting or proven for ratting, you know what I mean? But it won't be the same as a real as far as the NEPTC goes. It won't be considered as far as like earthwork, you know what I mean? So it'll be, it won't really be considered proven. Be more like, okay, your dog rats, and it's still a type of work, so they'll respect it. But it's definitely not gonna get the same energy as earthwork, and it's not gonna be really considered proven like the proven dogs will be. You know what I mean? So, but again, check out the website. You could check all that out. But yeah, 101. That's yeah. Again, you wasn't on here when I kind of brought that up, but yeah, that's kind of the things that I did did try to make clear, is that when we say how much work does your pattern, we do mean earthwork. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to people who rat with their dogs, but at the end of the day, Patterdales were bred for earthwork. They were bred to go into small holes and take care of things like And I don't mean take care of things like, because they're not supposed to kill them. You know, they're supposed to hold, and you as the partner, you as a teammate, you as the handler, supposed to get in there and you know, get them off it and dispatch of it, relocate it, whatever you might be doing. But yes, we do mean earthwork. We do mean go into the ground and get on a groundhog and or get on a coon or you know whatever fox or whatever badger or whatever it might be. There's dogs that get on fisher, you know what I mean? So whatever it might be. But yeah, as far as like yeah, chasing rats through the dirt, and that's no disrespect to anyone who does that. Again, shout out to Mink Man. We had him on here, and everyone knows he's a beast with the riding. I mean, he hunts with minks, so I mean, we know he could pretty much do it all. But that's his specialty. So, and that's someone we highly respect over here at Live Your Life Dogs, and as well as the NEPTC. I know they respect him over there. So, you know what I mean. So it's not nothing against it. It's just you know the dogs were bred for earthwork. Earthwork meaning going into holes and catching small game like groundhog, etc. So when we say proven, we do mean that. We do mean we do mean earthwork. 101. So you consider a dog down in a hole as long as it's in a hole, as long as it stays there and barks at it. Doesn't even really have to make contact, bark and stay. No. No. I'm gonna let I'll let 101 answer that, but I'm pretty sure I mean, even me, I've not been doing this long, but if it just barks and stays, I wouldn't consider that proven, you know, because barks and stays, something like a groundhog's just gonna run through another tunnel and then get away. We need a dog that me personally, I want a dog that's gonna go in that hole and engage like it's supposed to, grab, hold, and then we get up in there. And you know that, Jamie, as far as me, because we spoke plenty of times as well. But I'm guessing 101's on the same page. I'm guessing 101's on the same page as far as going in the dirt, grab and hold. You know what I mean? Not playing any games. Cause again, a lot of these, I mean, pretty much all of them have other ways out. So if it's just a dog that's gonna see it and bark, that's it's probably just gonna run the other way, which would make sense, right? But yeah, how much work does a Patterdale have to do to be considered proven? The Big Dig coming summer 2026. You can check it out on Eventbrite, Buffalo, New York. The Big Dig. It's a big event coming up in the Patterdale world, hunting, live hunting. You know, no joking around. Live hunting, real deal stuff. And whatever dogs you love, I know, you know, I'm locked in here at Live Your Life Dogs. We don't just do the Patterdale thing. I'm locked in with a whole bunch of other channels from you know, Dobermans to Cane Corsos to Frenchies to Pit Bulls to American Bullies, Lurchers. We lock in with a lot of different channels and show them love too. Because again, it's Live Your Life Dogs. We love all dogs. As far as Wednesdays, we dedicate the Wednesday to the Patterdale. So that's what we do. But yeah. Anyone who has any type of dogs and want to see a good dog event, you know, you could be someone, I don't know, you could have Great Danes, who knows? But you love dogs, you want to see some dogs work, come out. You don't gotta just have a Patterdale. You don't gotta be someone who's really wanting to get in the Patterdale world. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's eventful, it's fun, you know, meet new people, you know, fire pits at night, all that good stuff that goes down when you're camping and hunting. So it's gonna be a good time for everyone. So again, if you're someone who doesn't you know, doesn't have a Patterdale, you're someone who's thinking about getting into it, or someone who just loves dogs and wants to see something that's fun. Again, it's gonna be family friendly. So yeah, the Big Dig, June 2026. It's gonna be a good time. I'll be there. Jamie will be there. 101 will be there. PTCA will be there. Any PTC will be there. Okay. Hey, man. In and outdoors, created a channel just to join in and chat. Planning on coming out in June with Dex. Hey, man. Definitely, definitely. Yes, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, and of course you gotta to hop in these, you gotta create a channel. So I'm glad you joined, man. Come on and chat. We're here every Wednesday. Um, and definitely come out in June with Dex. I'm guessing Dex is your Patterdale. So yeah, definitely come out and again we'll be talking about a little bit more about everything we suggest you should bring as far as you know what I mean. I can't of course there's things that's a must. Shovel, located collar, all those things. But yeah, man. 101. Not the not the kind of dog I prefer to feed. I don't keep them in my kennel, but I work behind some bayers that can bag more curry than harder dogs. Okay. But I'd like to see more of that a season. I like to see more than 2 seasons. Yeah, I agree 101. Gonna try and convince Knicks to come out. Yeah. Yeah, hey, it's a you got plenty of time to get ready for it. It's out now. All the details are out now. Again, it's out. You could go to Cut Up Kennels Facebook page, Patterdale Terrier Club of America, NEPTC. Um, it's it's all over Facebook. You could the Big Dig, it's Buffalo, New York. It's on Eventbrite, the Big Dig, Buffalo, New York. So I suggest everyone to come out. Tell Nick to come out. His friend Quick, his other friend Jeff. You know, tell everyone to come out, man. It's gonna be a good time. And if you have a Patterdale and you wanna get your Patterdale noticed, you wanna make a name for your Patterdale, um, come out. Again, it's gonna be your dog will be recognized or there will be points given to your dog by the PTCA. Your dog will be recognized by the NEPTC. So as far as if it came in top dog or whatever during that event, it will go down. So yeah, we suggest everyone come out, have some fun with us. Gonna be a great time, man, and that's gonna be plenty of dogs out there that are proven already. Just there to have an event, just there to put their name on the map, and plenty of rookies, plenty of dogs will to be out there. We're trying to see if they're proven. Pretty sure people will just be out there with puppies to have fun and things like that. Um, I'm not sure when it will be, but knowing Cut Up Kennels, normally they do something where they'll just have groups of people go out just to hunt in general, maybe after the big events, and that's kind of like where you might where if you might not want to enter the contest, but that day we just go out and hunt and everyone have fun and there's no just points, it's just a regular hunting day. So I mean, yeah, Cut Up Kennels do it right. So again, it's gonna be a fun weekend. 101. I also like to see that the bear has ability to turn the heat up when needed to make sure we only have to dig one hole. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Yeah, you definitely want a dog that grabs and holds because you don't want to. I've been there when it happened where you dig 4 feet, 5 feet into the ground and the groundhog moved. You know what I mean? Dig another. Okay, it's over here now. Dig another 4 feet in the ground. The groundhog moved. Dig another four. So you definitely want a dog where it's like grab and holds, and the dog's there. So when you dig that 4 feet, you dig that 4 feet, and you're getting down to your dog and your groundhog. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the game too. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is what it is. The dog, and it's also good too because you got a dog that can good to see sometimes that you got a dog that can make it through the tunnels and it's making through the same tunnels that the groundhog's making it through. So, that's a good dog to work on. Groundhog, obviously, because it could go where the groundhog could go. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's personally, you want a dog that grabs and holds and holds it till you get there and you know what I mean, you do your job as the partner and keep it pushing, get your dog up off the ground and keep it moving. Eddie Hernandez, how's it going, Eddie? Appreciate you coming in here, man. They can work and get more hunting time than them terriers that stick to the game and get banged up. I like them on the hard side, but in all my years, I've seen some really good bears. Yeah, I mean, there's again, Eddie. We everything's opinion here. I'm not knocking you. I'm not. You know what I mean? Everyone has their opinion. I'm pretty sure there's great dogs that were good bayers, and then as you know, there's other dogs, other breeds that's what they do. That's what they do is bay. So yeah, I'm not mad at that. And again, if I'm pretty sure you have seen some good bears, and I'm not mad if I had a good bear. I'm not saying it's something where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna sell the dogs or give the dog away or anything, because it might come in handy. But yeah, as far as like the digging thing, I'd rather have a dog that just grab and hold and I could dig and get to it. You know what I mean? Than a dog that might bay and you know, and it might just get away because the dog didn't grab it and hold. But again, and a lot of you guys are more experienced than me too. So who knows? In a couple years, I might change my mind on that. You know what I mean? But you know, I don't keep them because that same bayer that works well in a tight set is also more likely to fail in larger places. Because and that's the thing, in a tight set it could bay because what it's barking at something and it might not have nowhere to go. It might just have its back to the wall type thing. But again, if it's a bigger set, it's probably it's probably gonna get away. You know what I mean? Because it has somewhere to go. So that makes sense too. If it, you know what I mean, if it's a bear, it's like, okay, got it in it. It's in a small, I would say, sometimes you dig and they have like the dens or the nesting dens where it's kind of like there might be one way in there where it's like, okay, you get it in there and the dog's baying, it's one way in, so they can't go nowhere. But if it's like baying and there's another way out, it's probably just gonna go out the other way, and now whatever it was gone. What up, big bro? Eddie, hope you're doing well, fam. Yes, sir. Hope everyone's doing well on this lovely Wednesday night. Patterdale Terrier Talk Wednesday nights. What's this, Bark 38? No, sir. Yeah, but Bark 38. Yeah, hope everyone's doing well, man. Everyone's doing good. Happy New Year to everyone. It's 2026. Let's have a good year. And one thing I like to always say is it's us versus, in this game, it is us versus the rodents. It is not us versus each other. You know what I mean? So me personally, I hope everyone dog does well, digs well, is proven and all that good stuff, because again, it's us versus the rodents, not us versus each other. It's all love. Let's have fun hunting together, man. You only live once. And hey, I like to live mine having fun, not indulging in arguments and stuff like that. So we always keep the vibes. Always keep the vibes. Good and positive over here at Live Your Life Dogs. Not so, because if you hunt with lurchers, they chase them into tunnels to dead end and keep it there, and they bolt them until lurchers get out. Yeah. I mean, again, I lurchers is and I'm gonna get into that because Eddie, I do have a lurcher that's about 8 months. Yeah, she about 8 months or something. So I'm definitely gonna get into more with the hunting and lurchers, and yeah, I get that. But yeah, lurchers. I mean, they're kind of bolting rabbits too, where both rabbits tend to like, they're trying to run where a groundhog will run and put dirt in front of your dog, not bring dirt down right on your dog. You know what I mean? And suffocate your dog. So it's a little different from something that will bolt out and run like rabbits and stuff. But I mean, again, to each his own. You know what I mean? Teach his own. You know what I mean? From what I understand and the way I've been taught, um, as far as the Patterdale is, you want a dog that's gonna go in the ground and engage, not even bark at all. if it's not necessary. You know what I mean? Just go in the ground and engage and hold on and that's what it's supposed to do. But again, you know, that's that's the way I've been taught. So who knows? I might hunt for the next 5 years and my opinion on that change. You know what I mean? But I'm not again, I'm not everyone's opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong or you know what I mean? And again, I'm pretty sure you've been hunting longer than me, so I'm definitely gonna respect your opinion because again, like I said, I'm always here to learn myself. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna respect your opinion and everything you're saying is definitely gonna, stay on the brain and come about when I'm out hunting again. Like, Eddie said this, and let's see how this goes, and if this, that, and the third. But yeah, you know, it's your opinion. I'm not mad at it. I respect it. I respect it. And then I think, and then to be honest, with you, I think everything comes into play. I think a lot comes into play as far as like your environment and where you're at, where you're located. I know there's people that oh, I got a 16 pound Patterdale, and there's other people that want an 11-pound Patterdale, and a lot of that comes down to where you're at. If you're somewhere where there's big badger and big coon, you probably don't want an 11-pound Patterdale, which just makes sense. You know what I mean? If you're somewhere where there's a lot of groundhog and the holes tend to be tight, then you're gonna want a small Patterdale because a 15, 16-pound is not gonna get in there. So I would assume even with the baying thing, your location and the conditions and all that comes into play. You know what I mean when you're out hunting. So, and again, we all have our opinions. We respect everyone's opinion here. We're all here to learn from each other. You know what I mean? Or teach each other. So it's all good. I kind of look at the Patterdale in the digging world as the bulldog. Okay, as the bulldog is the collie or shepherd in the herding world. If that makes sense, they can turn the heat up more and deal with stubborn quarry. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of people that say if the if the Patterdale was a big dog, it would be crazy, be a lot. You know what I mean? It'd be too much. But you know, I agree. And that's I mean, I'm assuming for the most part, that's why that's one thing I always say. If we even if we don't agree on some things, if we don't agree on some of our opinions, one thing we do all agree on is that the Patterdale was a great dog. We all, you know what I mean? One thing we all got in common is that we all love the Patterdale. That's why we come and lock in here on Wednesday nights for Patterdale Terrier Talk. So yeah, you know, everyone has their opinion. Everyone has their opinion. I'm not. I could see. Again, I'm not too into the ban, but is what Eddie said is not not wrong. Like yeah, the lurcher does do that, and I could see how some baying dogs could you know come in handy even in the Patterdale world. So you know, but again, you'll be able to see all that June in June summer to 2026. So yeah, be there, come out. New York, man, Buffalo, New York, the big dig. It's gonna be a great time. A lot of people who come in here on Wednesdays are definitely gonna be there with us. So I suggest if you got a Patterdale, you don't come a got a Patterdale, come out. Come out. It's the beginning, you know, it's the beginning of many, hopefully. And we're just gonna try to have fun this year. Um and try to do more of the at least myself, I'm gonna try to do more of the linking up with other Patterdale owners and hunt. Obviously, I'll be with my regular people that I always hunt with, but I'm gonna try to get some other people out. Some other people. There's a couple people closer to me I found, and shout out to them if they're in here. You guys know who you are. That we'll be linking up and hunting. So yeah, again, like I said, it's kind of you know it's the it's gonna be a fun summer, man. Seems like a lot of more Patterdale owners are kind of connecting and talking and and of course this live, I think this live is helping as far as bringing the Patterdale community together. So, and people learning from each other, you know what I mean? So, could be a great summer for the Patterdale, man. And again, we always trying to keep the hunting aspect alive. We're not saying just go get a Patterdale. We're saying go get a Patterdale and hunt it. Or if you want to hunt and do some earthwork and things like that, then get a Patterdale. But if you just want a dog, don't get a Patterdale. my my Patterdale is on the small side. Cool, worked them over pretty good. So I got a bull terrier cross to bring along now. Yeah, I get it. I've my dog again. She's about 10 pounds, 11 tops, and maybe more if I didn't like keep her in shape. But yeah, she's got on coon, but nothing too too sizable yet. And when she does, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get a little hectic for her. Give me one sec. Sorry about that. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I get that. What is the bull terrier cross? Is it bull terrier and Patterdale? But yeah, I mean that works. And I mean, that's kind of like what I did with my lurcher. Like I'm pretty, if there's something sizable my Patterdale runs into, then the lurcher could come into play and take care of business. But at the same time, if it gets into a hole, and if it gets into a hole, ah, boom. If she gets into a hole, she's gonna have to do her thing because obviously the bull, your bull terrier cross or my lurch is not gonna fit in the hole. So but I get it. I definitely get it. If they run into anything, sizable and it's above ground or something like that, then got some backup. Got some backup. I'm not mad about that at all. That's kind of my lurcher is kind of like I'm hoping like yeah if my Patterdale run into a nice sized coon and obviously it's above ground, my lurcher just come up and get rid of just end it. Especially if it's a night one of them big old boys, one of them big coons. Cause my dog bit on coon, but nothing. There was neither one of them was probably they were probably about 16, 17 pounds or something. Nothing too big. Let's just say 101 here in the southeast, we got a lot of coons and large underground washouts or beaver dens that can be 50 long. Yeah, 50 feet. So I'm guessing 50 feet long, 4 feet wide. Bears have more difficulty keeping quarries still in that. Yeah, because it's just barking. So what I mean. You bark at me and give me some time to run. I'm just gonna run. And if there's somewhere for me to run, I'm gone. You know what I mean? So yeah, the baying thing, you know, it is what it is. Okay, Woods and 101. You like to dig so much. Where y'all at the other night when I needed that big hole at Hey man, you know, hey, if you had called me up, I would have rolled my bike over there. Even though I'm on, probably about day and a half away in a car, but hey, I would roll my bicycle over there, Jamie, and help you out. It took me a week, but hey, so I would have got there and helped you out, man. Okay. Bull Terrier, Bull Mastiff, you probably seen her on my Facebook. Okay, yeah, I probably did. Yeah, that's yeah. If your Patterdale runs anything big, that will take care of it. A Bull Terrier and a Bull Mastiff. But yeah, that's a nice sized dog. So yeah, anything, and that's the thing about the earthwork. If you have something like when your dog goes in the ground, your Patterdale goes in the ground, it's in them holes. Um, ain't no big dogs getting in there to help it. And sometimes ain't no even another Patterdale can't even get in there to help it. And at the end of the day, no one suggests to do that because there's bad things that happen when you send two Patterdales in there. There's been times when another Patterdale bit a whole dog's ass off trying to and I haven't been there when this happened, but heard stories several times, from several hunters who've been doing this. Bit a dog's ass off trying to get to the game because the dog's in the way. Or it's been times where the dog in the back's pushing the dog towards the game, so the dog in the front can't maneuver right and do what it really got to do, or do its thing because it's getting pushed from behind too. So yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing about um the Patterdale when it comes to the earthwork is that they're in the ground by themselves. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like now I've seen big brush piles where I've seen big brush piles where people have sent, or me and my friends or my brother or my cousin have sent several Patterdales into a brush pile. But it's a nice sized brush pile where there could be anything from 2 coons or 10 coons in this brush pile. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit more of a, okay, there could be 8 of this thing in there. So we'll send 2 or 3 dogs in, but it's a nice sized brush pile. It's not no groundhog hole. You know what I mean? It's a nice sized brush pile. And that's not even really considered earthwork, I don't think, in most people's eyes. You know what I mean? Because at the end, they're not in the ground. Not saying it's not dangerous. Not saying it would, they can run into a coon that's 10 times more dangerous than a groundhog in the ground because it's a huge coon. And that's another thing where some people think, the groundhog puts up a better fight. Some people think the coon puts up a better fight. Obviously, if you run into something like a fisher, we already know what the better fight is. But again, everyone's opinion. But yeah, that's the thing about the Patterdale Terrier and doing the earthwork is that it's gonna be in the ground by itself. And even if you had the biggest and the toughest um big dog with it, that big dog can't get in the hole with it to really do anything. But it is great for like I said, where I go hunting in New York, there is coyotes. Not a lot of them. You don't really see them. Whatever. Obviously, they're out more at night. But there is, so something like a Patterdale, that's probably just a snack. So yeah, you would want something like a coyote just coming out of nowhere, snatching your Patterdale while it's searching or running or whatever the case might be. Yeah, you want a bigger dog to back it up. You know what I mean? But then in that case, you might need a bigger dog that can also catch a coyote. So it's all types of different things going on. From black dog, bull terriers, okay. I definitely check it out. I definitely heard of them. I don't know how much I checked them out, as far as really checking them out, but I'll definitely check them out outdoors. One call away, yep. See, 101 would have hopped on his bicycle too, Jamie. Made our way out there. Then hunt for some what? Some hogs and iguanas out there. What's going on, my brother 101? I am good. Hope you are doing well as well. Hope you're doing as good as well. Yeah, and again, from Live Your Life Dogs to y'all, man. I hope everyone in here is doing well. I hope everyone in here is doing well, man. It's a new year. Start your new year off right. Take care of you and yours. You got kids. Hope your kids are doing well. Hopefully you bring your kids out hunting with you. I know I bring my son out a lot hunting with me. He's getting into it. He loves it. He's learning the in and outs. Upcoming dog, man. So yeah, again, that event in June is family friendly too. So bring the kids out, have some fun. I only house harder stuff, but Eddie's 100% right. It's hard to beat a good bear in a typical groundhog set. It's hard to beat a good bear in a typical groundhog set with even a fox or coon. I've never done American Badger with a bear, so I can't speak on that. Okay. Okay, 101. Only house thought house. Okay, that's the same thing. Okay. 615. Chien Outdoors. I have a bloodline of Patterdales that run around 16 to 20 yards. They can handle the bigger coons without taking a whole lot of damage. Message me if you would like to try one. And yeah, those 16 to 20 pounders, those are the ones you want for the coon. Those are the ones you want for the coon. But again, as Jamie knows, those are a little harder to get in the groundhog holes. And if you have, I mean, for the most part, if you have something 16 and up, they're probably not getting into, I would say, 96% of groundhog holes. But if you, again, depending on where you're at, depending on where you're located, depending on the game where you're at, if you're somewhere where you got a whole bunch of boar coon or whatever, big coon, then you're gonna want a bigger dog. So, makes sense. I do plan on getting a bigger Patterdale myself sooner or later. Just so I could, again, Patterdale I have now, I aim towards ground earther. I aim towards groundhog because of her size. So that's kind of her specialty, you know what I mean? And she's great at it. And she has bumped into coon, but I'm not really, I do send her into brush piles and stuff like that where it could be coon. So it's not like, oh, I just tie her up if I think there's a coon there. No, but yeah, I tend to do the earthwork more with her because of that, and I do plan on getting a bigger Patterdale to aim more on the coon later on down the road. Thank you, Jamie. I'll keep that in mind when I'm ready to add another to the pack. When you're baying, the conversation knows the mouth goes right out the window. Yeah, I mean, nose doesn't, I guess, right, Jamie? Because you still gotta have the nose to find it in bay. But I would say mouth goes out the window for sure. Yeah, if you got a baying dog, you're not. I mean, you would like the dog to have good mouth just in case, yeah, whatever. But yeah, if you gotta you gotta if you're focusing on baying, then yeah, mouth is probably not your focus at all. So those who know, there's a conversation that went on all throughout 2025, and I'm pretty sure it just all go out throughout the Patterdale world forever because it's one of those conversations, and it's mouth over nose. Some people prefer more mouth, some people prefer more nose. Of course, we would all prefer 50-50. That would be the best, 50 nose, 50 nose, 50 mouth. Well, that would be, for me, my opinion. I'd rather just have it straight down the middle. Got a good amount of both, and let the dog go to work. Some people might want it 60-40, mouth. Some people want it 60-40 nose. Again, it's all your opinion, but yeah, when it comes to bang, mouth is pretty much out the window, Jamie. You're right about that for sure. You're not worried about, you know, the mouth if they're baying. Why would you? Excuse me. Who's baying, Pops? Yeah. I mean, yeah, as far as us, Jamie 101. Yeah. I don't know about the bang, but everything, yeah, I like what Eddie said for sure. And again, I might say, oh, you know what? I want a good bang Patterdale later on down the road. You know what I mean? That might be something where, you know, I end up liking. And not saying I really don't. It's not something I really, I hate it or anything. It's just, I'd rather have a dog that just goes in the hole and engages. We could, if there's a certain amount of noise that the dog might make or the animal might make where you could tell they're on hold or they're in hold or they're engaged. You know what I mean? And that's what I look for. A dog who's just gonna go in there and engage, hold. We dig them out. We're a team. Move on to the next one. But again, that's my opinion. We'll be doing all that. The Big Dig Summer 2026. Please come out. Again, in the chat. Shout out to everyone who's been in the chat. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the like button, tell a friend to tell a friend. I was saying earlier, I gotta check it out more and see what it's about a little bit more. But we got we finally made it to where we could do the gems and the gifts or the super gems or the whatever, just the supers and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out a little bit more. Yeah, I think you could do. Yeah, you could do. You got a couple different things we could do now. We got a couple different things we could do now. Yeah. So you could do the super stickers, the super. What's that? Make your message stand out. Or we got the membership thing now. I gotta look into that membership gifting. Yeah, so we got the super gifts. You could do, yeah, we got it to where we could do all that stuff now. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more and see what it's about. But we'll get those going hopefully. Mr. Darren has some smoking terriers that some of them sounders, but you will. Huh? Mr. Darren has some smoking terriers that some of them sounders, but you will. I'm not sure what you mean, 101. Respectfully, bro. I'm smoking terriers. I'm getting, good terriers, but some of them sounders, but you will. I'm guessing some of them good bayers, but again, yeah, I'm guessing 101 will fix that and let us, let us know what he's talking about. But yeah, it's a good talk. How many how much work does a Patterdale need to do to be proven? Your opinion, your eyes. Again, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, what one would say? We'll get you as much game with them digging as any other line. Okay. And that you're talking about Mr. Darren's dogs? Or are you talking about Mr. Darren smoking terriers, or are you talking about the 16 to 20 pounders? You said you have a bloodline of Patterdales that run 16 to 20 pounds. Right now you said will get to as much game as them digging as any other bloodline. Are you talking about that? Or you talking about Mr. Darren's? One-on-one. And again, shout out to everyone who came in the chat. It's always good for people to come up in the chat and talk, ask some questions, give their opinions. Keep the vibes going. We all learn, and I'm pretty sure when you come up in here, you learn something new. I know I've been doing this for about a year now, and I still learn something new every time from someone. As far as some of the things that Eddie was saying, as far as the baying and stuff, some of those things, yeah, I didn't really look at it that way, or you know what I mean. So even that, something new I'm learning that this is why people do like the Bay and Patterdale for several reasons. Again, my understanding is that they were, I don't really think they were bred to Bay either, but again, that's my understanding. I could be wrong. I could be right. It could be that they were actually bred to engage and bay. You know what I mean? They used to use this for that and that for this. So or this dog for that and that dog for this. So who knows? But main question was, yeah, what does it take for, how much work to be done does your dog have to do? How much work to be done? Or does your dog have to do, your Patterdale, to be considered proven? Mr. Darren has a really nice line of smaller terriers, some that are sounders, but they work. Some up to some down, seasoned in and out, and very successful digging dogs. These types are proven in my book. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. They're working sun up to sundown. They put in the work, successful digs. You know what I mean? They're always doing it. They're successful. And I would, yeah. I mean, obviously, to be proven, you would have to be successful, and that's just kind of whatever. But yeah, like you said, they're digging sun up to sundown, um, season in, season out, and very successful. So yeah, I would consider those dogs proven. Hopefully, one day, Mr. Darren takes time to you know, register them with the NEPTC. So we got them on file as legit workers, and they'll be known, and they'll have the certificates to prove that they are legit workers and proven workers, and that's always good to put some on your wall that my dog is not just not I'm not just saying it's a worker, it's a proven worker, and it got the certification for it. And again, every dog that will get that certification is vouched for, and you got to go through those steps to be proven. And you don't just click yes, my dog's proven, and that's it. There's certain steps you got to go through, and even after you go through those steps, your dog, it will be looked at by you know what I mean, by the NEPTC members, or the people, the NEPTC family board, or whatever you want to call it. It will be looked at, as well as the PTCA as far as pedigrees, and to as far as being proven. There's people on the PTCA board that will be helping with that, and helping to make sure that everything's right with pedigrees when it comes to registering your proven Patterdale. So yeah, hopefully that's something that Darren does later down the road, is register them, so we know, you know what I mean? And again, that's something that's going to be great about the NEPTC, is that you'll be able to register working Patterdales, and you go there and you know that all these dogs that are registered with them are working Patterdales. You know what I mean? But yeah, well, we've been in here for an hour and 40. Yeah, it's been a good night, man. I mean, shoot, I'm willing to keep talking dogs if anyone want to get into something else. It don't gotta be just about the Patterdale. I know this is Patterdale Terrier Talk Wednesdays, but again, this is Live Your Life Dogs. We love all dogs. But yeah, the question of the night was, how much work does a Patterdale have to do to be considered proven? You know, everyone had their opinions. I would say, as far as me and one-on-one, we had and that's for example, there was a lot of people that gave their opinion, and anyone's opinion is just as good as anyone else's. But as far as yeah, me and one-on-one, just to use that example, yeah, we was kind of on the 2 season things, and good amount of work in those 2 seasons. You know, we ain't just chasing chipmunks in these seasons. We putting in a good amount of work, good amount of earth work within these 2 seasons. And I agree with him on that. We was kind of on the same page. He kind of said what I said what he said. 615 TN Outdoors said, any advice on finding places to hunt? That is my biggest yeah. But honestly, if you're anywhere where there's farms that you could get to, whether they're an hour drive, where I'm located, there's farms that that the owner has given me permission to go on, where they might be an hour and a half out, they might be 2 hours out, but wake up early, get out there and had fun with it, and make a day of it, and make a morning of it or whatever, and have fun. It's part of the game. You know what I mean? Got to drive a little to do this, but some people could do it right out back, right across the street, and shit, good for them. But I would say, try to, if there's any local farms, or farms in general or whatever in the area. There's always a lot of game on farms, because there's food on farms, especially if it's a farm that got apples and corn and all that type of stuff. Um, Contact the owners and see if you can see if they'll give you permission to go on. Let them know you're not, you shouldn't go on there and do nothing stupid and disrespect people's property. Leave trash. You drink a can of soda, make sure you throw that can of soda in your bag so you don't mess it up for yourself. But try to find local farms and talk to the owners and just let them know, I got dogs that get rid of rodents. I would like to come through and kill some if I can find some, and hunt some, I should say, if I could find some. And most of the time, if they're cool people and you're a cool person, and you know how to present yourself, yeah, they'll give, because most of the time they don't like the groundhogs or the coons there anyway, because they're costing them money. And that's one thing to remember, is that as far as me and my team and the people I do this with, 90% of the time, that's where we're at. We're on farms, helping, and at the end of the day, helping people. Whether we're dispatching, or whether we're relocating. You know what I mean? We're helping farmers that I've seen some farmers where they got a whole 2 rows of just corn just wiped out because of coons. You know what I mean? Just wiped out. Like, sometimes it's kind of surprising how much and how quickly they can wipe out. You know what I mean? But yeah. So that would be the, you know what I mean? Because of course you don't want to go on somewhere where it's like state property and now they're on you about something. So it's best to find somewhere where it's like you can find a owner that owns his farm, to where when you're on it, it's private property. So you got the okay to go on there. That would be the first thing I would say, is try to get in touch with some farms and talk to the owners and try to get the okay, and just let them know you ain't gonna touch nothing, harm nothing, but the things they don't like on their farm. You know what I mean? So that's what I would do. Yo, you please don't get me wrong. I love all Patterdales. One of my very favorite little dogs ever owned was a baying dog. She would wait till I get there and then catch it. Yeah, I'm not mad at the baying at all, Jamie. You know me. I respect everyone. I respect everyone's opinion. You know what I mean? I just been kind of the way I was taught was, baying is not really what you want a Patterdale to do too much. But like again, I could from what Eddie was saying, I could see what he was, and like I said, I learned something new. I could see where baying could come in handy. So again, I'm not mad at that. I could see where baying could come in handy. The way Eddie was explaining it. But yeah, respect everyone's opinion, man. It's all love. Yep, you could pay to get listed farmers based on zip codes, then send out mailers to them offering exactly. Yep, yep. That's one way. And yeah, that's the main thing is to let that even the poison. The poison is like the because I know farmers that, and I'm not saying go out there with no guns or whatever, but I know farmers that you know don't mind if you come on there with a pellet gun or something. You know what I mean? Because and depending on where you're at, I know farmers that don't mind if you're on there with a rail gun, if as long as if they know you're responsible and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother type of hunting and a whole nother type of license and stuff like that. But as far as yeah, the poison is a big thing because sometimes people put out poison to kill one animal, but it kills plants, bugs and birds too. And other animals in general, whatever too. So that's one thing that you always want to push is that no poisons are needed. None of their crops or anything will be harmed. Nothing, it's just your dog going in the ground taking care of something they don't like. Great advice 101. Thank you. A lot of people will hear hunters and think someone running around shooting their cows. A lot of people will hear hunters and think someone running around shooting their cow. Damn, what you mean? Why would they? Is something like what is going on where they would think someone's shooting? I mean, is cows showing up dead? 615 TN outdoors. Oh, you're saying that because of the gun? Oh, yeah, accidentally, of course. Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, shit, that sucks though, and it sucks. Stray bullocks are said to. Yeah, and again, that's the I mean, yeah, that's crazy because I mean, it's like, damn, you didn't see a big ass cow, but again, you gotta be yeah, I'm not really too into the you mean I'll do it, I mean, and all that, but I'm not really too crazy about gun hunting. You know what I mean? I like hunting with the dogs, and obviously there's hunting that way you use both gun and the dogs and a gun, but yeah, so I'm not too worried about all that, but yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. And then if you're on a farm, you're on farms that also comes into play the size of the farm. You know what I mean? That also comes to play. You was actually even with the that's the challenge to find spots is that obviously it would be better to find the bigger farms. You know what I mean? Because I have access to several farms where it's like some of them it's like you might walk the whole farm in like what I mean, half an hour, an hour. I wouldn't say half an hour, but an hour. And then there's some of them, where it would take you 4 or 5 hours to walk the whole farm. And obviously the bigger farms are better because there's more game. But then okay, for example, there's another thing I run into where there's one farm I go to where it's a good size, but there's a lot of poison ivy there. So the whole time you're there, it sucks because you gotta watch out for poison ivy for you and your dog. As we all know, either way it sucks. Your dog, and it's a dog, so it'll run straight through the brush and run straight through poison ivy, and then fucked. You know what I mean? So it's like there's all types. That's all comes into play when you're looking for good spots to hunt. I know out in New Hampshire, um, there's a lot of coon, but there's a whole bunch of porcupines too. So it's like, damn, you go hunting out there, it's like it's almost 50-50. your dog might run into a porcupine. So like obviously that it is a lot of forest, there's a lot of, you know, wildlife and game out there, but it sucks because there's a lot of porcupines. So the chance of your dog running into a porcupine is high. So even though there is a lot of coons and a lot of you know, game out there as far as hunting with Patterdales, yeah, a lot of people don't because, you know, I don't know if you ever seen, but you know, 300 quills in a dog's face sucks. You know, just looking at it, and it so, you know, it definitely sucks for the dog. But you definitely want to find a good farm with you know, just less things to worry about, like poison ivy. You know what I mean? You can find a nice sized farm with game, but if it's full of poison ivy, it's like, damn, you're taking a risk every time you go up in some type of brush. You know what I mean? So again, it is what it is. But as far as finding the area, yeah, definitely want to find somewhere where there's good amount of game, not too much something like poison ivy, not too rocky. I know there's places out here where it's like all the groundhog are up against all their holes are up against a bank, but the whole bank is like a man-made wall of huge ass boulders. So it's like, you know, they're in there, but you're not gonna let your dog in there because who's moving boulders? You know what I mean? Once they get like 4 or 5 feet in the hole, there ain't nothing on them but tons of rock. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, we know they're in there to the point where we have seen them when we first pulled up. We have seen them, you know, be out, get startled, and run in there, and we know exactly what hole they're in. But it's under big rocks, so you definitely want to find a good area, you know, and just look at everything as far as size, um, dirt, meaning like, is it rocky, is it soft, and then just stuff like poison ivy. um, Maybe not use the word hunting. Maybe use the word pest control. Farmers always like that because farmers always deal with lot of pests, and they rather not. So I would maybe say pest control, and don't, you know, I'm not here to hunt with my dog. I do pest control with my dog. You know what I mean? Because, you know, just little words like that can help. So maybe sound like, yeah, I do pest control with my dog. And normally when they hear pest control, when people hear pest control, they're not thinking guns, but what they would think is poison. But you let them know, no, I use a dog. So, you know, there's no there's no poison involved either. So that's what I would go with, pest control. And again, when you say pest control, no one's really thinking guns, but they are thinking poison. So just let them know I do pest control with my dog, meaning my dog catches rodents and we dispatch of them, or, you know, relocate them. And don't even use the word hunt, because you're right. When you say hunt, when like me, I say, oh, I'm going hunting this weekend. People automatically think, oh, I'm going to hunt deer or something. You know what I mean? Now people who know me now, it's like, okay, yeah, he's going to hunt with the dogs. But yeah, if you don't know me, I say hunt. Or even if you do know me and I say hunt, the first thing you're gonna think is, oh, this guy's going out with a shotgun and killing deer, or going out with a, uh, you know, whatever, and shooting something. So I would probably use the word pest control, as I help farmers with pest control, and go from there. And he say, oh, what do you mean? Oh, I hunt, take out rodents with my dogs. You know what I mean? No, no, and then go from there. No poison involved, no guns involved. We just try to sniff them out, find them, and get rid of them. And that should work. You know, it works for me. Works for me, and works for my cousin, works for people I'm around. So, but you're right. Once you say hunting, yeah, that people for sure are gonna definitely think um guns. I like the idea of getting a list and sending out mail letters. Never considered that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, one on one. You know, he's someone. Again, this is why I say, come here and come here on Wednesdays and learn, because we got people like one on one who's seasoned, who've been doing this, and he knows his stuff. We got people like Jamie Parker who've been doing this, who knows their stuff. You know what I mean? I'm learning. I know a good amount of things. I know my stuff, but again, there's people like Jamie Parker, and there's people like one on one kennels who know more than me. You know, one day I'm gonna pass them. I'm gonna know more than them one day. Nah, I'm always learning from them. But yeah, that's the great thing about coming here, man. That's the great thing about coming here is we come here to learn from each other and help each other out. And like I said, I consider it to be one big, Patterdale family. Again, it's us versus the rodents, not us versus them. We're just one big Patterdale family, having fun with these dogs. And why not? I'm someone where and Jamie seen it. He been there when it was okay. We're all digging, and hey, if this was even during a competition. We was all digging, and someone's dog was in the ground, and they needed a little help. Hey, I tied my dog up, got to digging with them. You know what I mean? We're worried about getting these dogs out the ground first. You know what I mean? If anything, if you reach out to me, there are ways to get the same effects as a farmer, more or less, in other contexts. Depending on where you are, it's easy to get plenty of work for your terrier if you will dig. Yep, for sure. Again, one on one with some gems. One on one with some gems, like always. Yes, sir. Shout out to one on one again. Shout out to everyone who locked in here with us tonight. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave a gift, super gem, or whatever those things are. I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, it's been a good night, man. Patterdale Talk Wednesdays. It's Bach 38, sponsored by the NEPTC. Brought to you by Live Your Life Dogs. We're here every Wednesday to talk about the dogs we love. The question of the night was how much work does the Patterdale need to do to be considered proven? As you guys know, we always have a question of the day if we don't have a special guest, an interview, and sometimes we got both. Most of the time we got both. But yeah, I like to come here on Wednesdays and lock in with everyone, talk about the Patterdale, learn a bit more about this earth hunting, talk about events we got coming up, talk about clubs in the Patterdale world. And again, we got the Friday Night Live Dog Talk, where we just talk about dogs in general. Because again, this is Live Your Life Dogs. We love all dogs. We just dedicate Wednesdays to the Patterdale. And again, I don't know if you was on locked in earlier, but I'm gonna try to start doing maybe like a weekend morning, when more people tend to be up and about. Some people are, getting ready to go to bed around 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. So I'm gonna try to start getting in maybe some Saturday mornings or maybe some Sunday mornings. And get up in here and talk about dogs in general. And of course, we're always gonna talk about the Patterdale, but I'm gonna definitely dedicate some of those mornings because I know there's people in the Patterdale world again that it's a little harder for them to get in here on Wednesday nights. So I'm definitely gonna dedicate some of those mornings to the Patterdale world, you know. And for those people who can't make it Wednesday nights, they can lock in with us that Saturday morning or that Sunday morning. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for new shorts, new videos, new posts. Again, we got to the I'm gonna set it up and all that, but we got to the position where we can become a member of the channel, send gifts, supers, and all that good stuff. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys know a little bit more than all about all that than me, but I'm gonna get into it. And I think it's just just showing love to the channel and stuff like that. But yeah, and anything that goes, happens with this channel or goes to this channel will just be put back into the channel. but you know, put back into the Live Your Life Dogs, you know, foundation or whatever, but ink and you know, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a good night. We going on 2 hours now. Appreciate y'all for locking in. Again, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you got something you want to bring up before we get up out of there, you know, post it in the chat now, and we'll get to it before we get up out of here. Other than that, again, this is brought to you by Live Your Life Dogs, sponsored by the NEPTC. Appreciate everyone for locking in. One-on-ones always showing love outdoors. Jamie's always up in here. Appreciate everyone. Again, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Even when this video is over, you can still share. Turn on your notifications when it comes to this page so you can see when we got things coming up, or see when we posted a new short, a new video, a new post, reel, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, and again, till next time, see y'all. Yeah, those who lock in with us on Friday nights for Friday Night Dog Talk. Yeah. See you then. If you're gonna lock it, I might be with the bro Nick. I might be by myself, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You know, happy new year to everyone. Let's get this 2026 started off right. Again, appreciate you coming through. Till next time. See y'all. Peace out. Take care of your dog. Feed your dog well, all that good stuff. Get them ready for the hunt this summer. That's what I'm doing. Till next time, y'all have a good night.